Hi friends, we have an interesting verse from one Shatakam called Kali Vidambana Shatakam. This is written by one 17th century writer called Neelakantha. The name of the book is Kali Vidambanam. Kali Vidambanam means reproaching or narrating the faults of the decadent times. Reproaching the decadent times. Oh, the times have so fallen, the standards have so fallen, and then how people are behaving, how people are becoming more and more unscrupulous. So that sort of thing. So this is a satirical work, basically a satirical work which exposes the follies of several people, several groups of people. It talks about the doctors, some fake doctors. It talks about fake intellectuals, intellectuals on hire. Now it is talking about the fake godmen. We see sometimes we come across the self-styled godmen, the hypocritical godmen. Outwardly they look so pompous and then they look so mighty, but then inwardly they are people of very weak character. So such people he is mentioning here. Let us read this shloka. Kaupinam bhasita lepo Darbha rudrakshamalika Maunamekashika cheti Murkha sanjivana nishat. So here he is saying, he is describing a fake sadhu, a fake guru or a hypocritical guru. So this man, so suppose one has to be a real guru. If one has to be a real guru, what should he do? He has to go to a teacher, he has to study, he has to serve the teacher, study well for years and years. For a few years at least he has to study. If you have to study some Vedas and Upanishads, you have to study for at least about 8 to 10 years. Then you have to do some mananam. Mananam means thinking or meditating on that. So suppose you learned something at the school. After that, you are supposed to deliberate on that. You are supposed to contemplate on that. You are supposed to internalize. Whatever you have studied there, you are supposed to internalize. It is more so in the case of a guru, a religious teacher. Suppose a religious text, it says something about the nature of God. It says something about morality. It says something about various other aspects. So this about self-control, etc., etc. So this man, he is supposed to internalize, he is supposed to think on them, he is supposed to contemplate, meditate on them, and then that is what is called Muni. Muni is somebody, Mananat Munihi. Mananam means this meditation, contemplation. So suppose it says control of mind. What is control of mind? Am I really controlling my mind, or am I allowing my mind to just wander about? Controlling of senses. Am I really controlling my senses? What am I supposed to do to control my senses? So this man should be constantly contemplating on these things and gradually bring his mind and senses under control. So then only he is called a Muni. Not by silently sitting. He may be silently sitting, but his mind may be wandering on so many things. Internally, he may be desiring so many things. So, he is not a Muni. So, we are now talking about this particular hypocritical person who has got all outward symptoms of being a great guru. So, in olden days, sometimes all these sannyasis, sometimes they used to wear only some loin cloth only. So, a person who is wearing a loin cloth, kaupinam is just a loin cloth, bhasita alepaha, that is just apply all the sacred ash on your body. So you come across such people also, some sadhus who apply all this sacred ash on their bodies and then come in a very, very pompous manner, bhasita alepaha. Then they also hold some sacred grass which is called darbha. Darbha is that sacred grass. Rudraksha malika, that garland of sacred beads, that huge, rudraksha, it's a bead. So that is something, huge garlands, not one but several garlands they will wear. So the more garlands you wear, the more, impressive you look as a Swami. So Darbha, Rudraksha Malika, Maunam Ekashika Cheti. Maunam is just maintaining, silence. Because this man has not studied anything. If somebody asks something about some questions. Oh, my dear sir, what is a God? What is a man? What is a human being? What is this creation? Suppose he asks something. So this fellow has not read even Bhagavad Gita. So this man cannot answer any type of doctrinal question. So suppose even a small doctrinal question he will not be able to handle. So such a person, what will he say? Oh, his Shishya will say, his student will say, oh, our great Guru is observing silence today. He is observing silence, he will not speak to anybody. He is observing silence, he is in deep state of meditation. So that is it. So okay, you go and you worship him. And in fact, we come across, we have got several innocent people, not only in India but everywhere. All over the world you come across innocent people. So these innocent people, they will go, sit there, touch their feet, and then they will do all that. Maunam, ekashika, ashana is eating, ashanam is food. Ekashika, that is, when he is eating, nobody else will see. So he eats only in private. There are many sadhus, they eat only in private. Nobody should see. Particularly women are not supposed to see. So there are some such, people who follow certain rules. There are some good swamis also. There are several good swamis and then good pitadipatis who follow this. When they have this bhiksha or food, they do it in isolation. They do it not in the presence of people, but they do it privately. So, okay. So here also this person, Ekashika, oh, Sadhu, Swamiji will not eat in the presence of everybody. He eats alone. He has got his own separate food, separately cooked, separate cooks have come. So that is it. So he maintains such an isolation. So that isolation is something which is so impressive, which is so, attractive and daunting to us. So normally, suppose the same gentleman comes and eats along with us. So, okay, this Swamiji is mixing with everybody, we don't bother much. Suppose he says, no, he doesn't touch anything. He is there separately. There is a separate cook who has come all the way from his place and then cooking separately, untouched by anybody else. So that ekashika. So he is sitting alone and eating. So that is ekashikacha iti murkha sanjeevanani shat. All these six, shat means six. Murkha sanjeevanani. These are things like a panacea, sanjeevana. You know what is sanjeevani? Sanjeevani is something which, it is something like a panacea, it is enlivening a person. In Ramayana there is an episode where Lakshmana gets hit by one astram, some sacred arrow, let us say. So that sacred weapon. And then when that man is almost about to die, then Hanuman goes and then brings that, this medicine which is called Sanjeevani. And then he brings that medicine and then that medicine is applied and then Lakshmana revives. So that is Sanjeevani, means something which revives, something which enlivens. So that is Sanjeevani. Even a person about to die, he will be revived. So that is what is a Sanjeevani. So these six things are like Sanjeevani. They are the panacea. They are the most powerful medicines for a foolish person. Maunam ekasika cheti, murkha sanjeevanani. For a murkha, for somebody who is illiterate, a totally illiterate person can pass off as a great sadhu if he observes these things. He has to wear a loincloth, apply some, a sacred ash on him, and then Darbha holds some sacred grass, and then wear lot many garlands, etc. And then he should not talk to anybody. If he talks, his ignorance will be revealed. So he should not talk. Then he should eat alone. So if he does like that, his life is taken care of. His life is taken care of. Sometimes he may be a Mauna Sadhu, Mauna Baba, etc. He need not speak anything. And then he can speak in riddles, and people will interpret in their own manner. So all that thing will happen. So that is the story of a hypocritical person. So let us read this shloka again. Here, of course, no important grammar points. Bhasita alepa. Bhasita is that sacred ash, bhasma. Alepanam. Alepanam is just applying it, rubbing it on the body. Then Rudraksha Malika, Murkha Sanjeevanani. Sanjeevani is something which revives. Kaupinam Bhasita lepo. Darbha Rudrakshamalika Maunamekashika cheti Murkha Sanjeevanani shat. Okay, fine.